Australia is known for its vast number of dangerous animals and creatures that can be found scattered throughout the country. Many dread the deadly spiders, snakes, sharks, and more, but there are other things to fear in the land down under. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 mysteries of Australia. The Devil's Pool Haunted. The Devil's Pool is one of the most haunted places in all of Australia. It's located just outside of Cairns in the state of Queensland and has been a popular tourist destination for some time now. The Devil's Pool can be found amid an untouched rainforest near large boulders in the town of Babinda. To those who are unaware of the Devil's Pool's dark history, they may find the crystal clear water and streams to be a majestic spot to enjoy and take in the natural beauty. Unfortunately, it has been deemed by the Australian Aborigines as a dark and dangerous place where only bad things happen. The Aboriginal legend explains that a beautiful woman that came from the Yidinji tribe was married to a tribal elder. At some point during their marriage, the woman fell in love with a younger man and they began an affair. They ran off into the woods to start a life together in the hopes that no one would find them. However, the tribal elder was in a powerful position in their tribe and he sent search parties to look for them. Eventually caught and surrounded by the Babinda boulders, the woman threw herself into the water below and took her own life. She couldn't bear a life without her true love and saw no other way out. The Aborigines don't believe she ever left those waters and still remains there, looking for young men she can lure down below the water with her. What was first seen as a harmless legend or tale has gained some traction over time, due to the number of young men that have gone missing and mysteriously passed away at the Devil's Pool. All but one of the missing or deceased have been men. It's also believed that the pool is more aggressive towards men that disrespect the area. One young man kicked a sign that was placed to warn tourists and he slipped, falling into the pool and lost his life. While the number of deaths is still debated, there have been at least 17 young men that have gone mysteriously missing or lost their lives since 1959. But what does that mean? How could they have mysteriously lost their lives? For starters, onlookers have witnessed victims being pulled forcefully and held underwater. There have been other mysterious ways these men have lost their lives. A 24-year-old man named Peter McGann climbed up the boulder and jumped through a small gap into the water below. Police divers were only able to uncover his body after 5 weeks of searching through the murky water of the bottom of the pool. Another young couple was also taken by the Devil's Pool during a flash flood. The woman ended up surviving, but the man was never heard from after that. One of the most recent disappearances was a 37-year-old man, Mr. Hoffman, whose body was found in October 2020, 48 hours after he was last seen. The man was there with another young man who successfully escaped the pool unharmed. A strong current ran through and swept Hoffman away. With so many horrible incidents, the area has been boarded up with railings and large signs have been placed around the Devil's Pool to warn people from swimming or getting too close. So why do people continue to explore the Devil's Pool, despite its large sum of disastrous events? Maybe some find the risk exciting. The Euroa Beast Cryptid. Our next Australian mystery takes place in the state of Victoria and concerns an unusual aquatic enigma that was first discovered in 1890. It's been described as a 30-foot-long beast with a bulldog-like face, and it was first spotted in an area near Euroa, Australia. It was seen in a swamp that has had a reputation for being haunted. Stories of paranormal energy, dogs going missing, and unusual sounds of snorting coming from an animal are not uncommon. One particular story involved a man who was in the swamp cutting reeds. He saw an animal splash and move by and did not think much of it at first. He returned the next day and saw it again, but this time he witnessed the face that looked strangely similar to that of a bulldog, only it was attached to a 30-foot body. After hearing about the unusual creature, more men flocked to the spot where it was sighted in the hopes they would come across it as well. They ended up spotting it and were able to describe it as yellow in colour underneath but a dark brown on the top of its body. After further investigation, some believe it to be a bell-topper, which is a large serpent that was found in Queensland. It's also been compared to a notorious cryptid known as the bunyip, which was known in Aboriginal culture as an evil spirit that stalked waterways and took the lives of people, mostly choosing to go after children. Experts looked at the description of the unknown creature and determined it couldn't be the bunyip because it appeared to be a mix of a fish and land animal. The people of Euroa and nearby townships were panicked by the stories they heard about the creature and sought the help of Melbourne Zoological Gardens. The officials were skeptical and didn't believe that such an animal existed in Euroa. Upon hearing their disbelief, a group of men and women from nearby towns gathered to pursue finding and capturing the beast. They searched day and night looking for it, but came back empty-handed. Since then, there has been no new accounts of the unusual animal. Do you think the Euroa beast was real, or was it perhaps a figment of imagination? With no conclusive evidence, it's challenging for some to believe it existed, but who knows? We might just stumble upon the Euroa beast when we least expect it. National Film and Sound Archive haunted. The last Australian mystery surrounds what is known as one of Australia's most haunted buildings. The National Film and Sound Archive is found in the country's capital, Canberra. For over 50 years, it housed a range of spooky artifacts such as human skeletons and animal specimens. While it may not seem all that scary at face value, it has been regarded as a paranormal site by many ghost hunters. In order to properly understand the building's history, we must go back to the beginning when it was commissioned in the 1920s. It was supposed to be an entrance to the National Museum of Zoology. Colin Mackenzie was in charge of the project and had enormous plans for the building. He began collecting live and deceased objects to be stored in what would be a zoo. Shortly after work on the building commenced, the Depression hit and the government was unable to support the project. Years later, Mackenzie opened it to the public as the Institute of Anatomy. The collection grew and held skulls, mummies, and other ancient artifacts, becoming a popular destination for tourists visiting Canberra. It was wildly successful, and Mackenzie was the director of the institute until he passed away. Afterwards, the Department of Health moved to the top floor of the building and the museum remained open. By the 1970s, the institute was set to become a national museum, but was later turned into the National Film and Sound Archive in 1984. As you can imagine, Mackenzie's ghost was sighted over the years. Some described the experience like a genie out of a bottle, where the outline of an elderly, well-dressed man would walk through the wall where his ashes were kept. Whilst that alone is frightening, another common ghost sighting is of a little girl who would come out of a gate in the old theatre and make children who were visiting laugh. Since the National Film and Sound Archive moved and an office space took over, people heard loud noises from recording booths and saw items fly around. Ghost hunters saw this as an opportunity to find the spirits that lived within the building, but they were unsuccessful. They came with 6 pieces of equipment that were drained from a full battery to empty before their eyes. But what do you make of these mysteries of Australia? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.